All right, thank you, everybody. So Lester, thank you for inviting me today. In BNI, I presented on a topic, ADA compliance, what it is and why it's important to websites. So Lester saw that and thought it'd be something that's topical right now. I meant to be on this side, actually. How's that? All right, so I'm just gonna go through it. I'll have room for questions at the end. If I say something that's not correct, let's save it for the end. No, I'm just kidding. So anyway, so what I'm going to cover today is what it is, kind of the solution we use. We use a third-party solution that we recommend to people because it's automated, and I'll get into why it's important. But it's just to be upfront, it's not something that we directly provide. We have a lot of clients that needed it, and we went out and looked for solutions, and this is the one that we chose. So what is ADA? Who here doesn't know what ADA is in the law, how it applies? So I read the whole thing, or does everybody know what it is? All right. So it happened in 1990, and it's just making sure things are accessible to people with various disabilities. And web accessibility, because obviously this is websites related, covers things like blindness, motor mobility, color blindness, contrast, blurred vision, just making sure that people come to the website can have a similar experience to people without disabilities, and they can get the information that they need. And why is it important? So litigation is on the rise. In the past, physical locations were getting hit a lot. People would come, they would work together as a team generally, somebody with a disability and a lawyer would come in, they'd look around, they'd see concerns, and then instead of actually wanting them fixed, they would say, hey, if you give us $5,000, we'll go away, we won't litigate this. So they were essentially extorting them. My father-in-law here in Riverside was one that the physical business got caught. Fortunately, he's a chiropractor with a lot of law enforcement friends, and they caught that guy. And that guy went and he got booked. But it's happening to websites now too. 4West, a off-road company in San Bernardino, I think, they shut down their website. I was meeting with him. He's like, I just turned it off because they called. They were going to extort us. So it is a real problem. You can see it's hugely on the rise, and this is even only from 2019. So I'm sure this has only continued to go up. 200% increase up to then. DOJ affirms that ADA applies to websites in 2018. 2019, it triples. Over 150,000 demand letters were served in just 2017. Again, all these numbers keep going up. 93% of demand letters settle outside of court. This is what they want. This is, unfortunately, the real whole point of it, is this settlement right here. And look at those numbers, $20,000 to $150,000 they're settling for. And 7% of businesses fight and lose in court because they don't have compliance in place. So what we offer through a company called Accessivity is a fully automatic AI-powered learning web accessibility solution. So it takes care of it for you. It complies with worldwide legislation and keeps your website compliant 24/7. So some of the things it covers, it meets the, honestly, not sure what that standard is. There's a lot of acronyms, but the point is it's not compliant. It explains the adjustments to your website that were done. It serves as a certification for performance. It shows the proof that you're doing the work. I think that's the biggest thing, is if they do litigate, it's like, here's what were the steps we've taken, here's the information I have, here's the documentation I have, so go ahead and fight it because we're gonna win. It also shows you, it gives you that information through an email. Like, see this accessibility statement, you actually have that available to you. So here's some of the industries that are most impacted. These are the big ones, and it really covers the majority of them, but anybody is vulnerable to this. If they think that they can get money out of you, they'll do it. But e-commerce businesses especially, they know there's money flowing through those. It's a retail establishment type thing. Restaurants, food industry, automotive, finance, healthcare, education. And again, it's really everybody though, but those are some of the major ones that Accessivity says get hit a lot. Legal support. So one of the benefits besides having that information available is that they'll actually help you if you do end up having to litigate. So Accessivity remediates your site to make it accessible and compliant. With that being said, a claim can and may happen anywhere, anytime, for any reason. The accessibility statement that I showed before and the monthly compliance audit, so it literally every month is checking your website to make sure it's compliant, should be enough to stop the claim in its tracks. But if it doesn't, that's where they'll step in. So as part of this litigation support package, which is a huge benefit of it, they give you the documentation that I mentioned so you can show and demonstrate that it's covered. They'll suggest responses to respond back to them and try to get them to go away. They'll give you different third-party audits, and they'll give you support from the team. Legal support, right, from lawyers, from their department to make sure that you're answering things correctly, you're following the right steps, you're filing the right paperwork, you're going through the right motions. I'm not a lawyer, so I don't know exactly, but the steps are being followed to make sure that you're as safe as possible. So it's a real simple process. I won't get into too much detail, but we just drop in a line of code. We look at the report. If there's things that need to get changed by us as a web design company, we do it. Majority of the time, we literally just drop in the code and it does its thing. A little guide pops up in the bottom. You click on it if they want to. They can change the colors. They can change. It can read to them, whatever. Then the website that shows up. The little guy I was talking about shows up right away. It starts scanning the site. Within 48 hours, it makes your website compliant. And then it keeps rescanning every 24 hours to tell you if there's any issues or give you a report on how it's going. Some of the features, keyboard navigation screen readers, like it literally looks at all these different elements of your website and makes sure that they're accessible to everybody. So like if you have a form, it can tell them how to put the information in or help them get to the next field, right? Because imagine if you're blind, for example, you can't look at where you need to type in information. So it's going to help guide you through that. And then the UI design, if somebody needs higher contrast because they have something wrong with their eyes, the cursor needs to be bigger, all of these things are automatically built in to help them. So I think they have settings on their side in their computer because of the way they need to use their computer that it recognizes and then it adapts to that to make sure that it fits their needs. It's trusted by a lot of people. These major companies rely on it. They have it on their website, they're using it. There's thousands of people, but these are some of the bigger names that do use it. I feel like I'm going really fast. How much time do I have? I'm not used to 15 minutes. I'm used to 10.
Yeah, you still have some time.
I still got a lot of time. I hope you guys have some questions for me. So making your site compliant is easy. I've also printed them out. So if you scan that with your phone, it'll take you to the sign-up form. Once you sign up, you just let us know. We can help you install it. Or you can call us. I'll give you your business card, and we can install it for you and walk you through the process. Any questions? I was right. I was flying. Yes?
How much does it cost?
It's $49 a month for that service. And we don't charge anything on the setup.
What, $29 per month per?
$49 per website.
With the bigger companies that you have that are out there that give you a website, that AIG or Keller Williams or any of the big companies, how can you integrate?
It depends on what level of control they give you, because we do have to put a line of code into the code. So it's something, honestly, that they should be doing anyway. That's something they should be providing for you, in my opinion. But if not, it would really depend on the level of access. Most times we see that we don't have the level of access that we would need. But it's something that we could work with corporate, talk to them and see if it's something to be applied or something that they should apply.
Is this something that's going across the country?
Like in a wave or just?
Like, yeah, because I know California is a very litigious state, but I mean, is this something that is a problem with?
It's a national, absolutely. It's a worldwide problem. Yeah, absolutely. It's certainly something that's happening everywhere.
You're looking for free money.
Looking for free money, that's absolutely it. Yes, sir.
Just an observation. I consider myself a moderately intelligent person, and I'm on the internet all the time. In my opinion, at my stage of the game in life here, none of these websites are compliant. I can't figure out. I spend a half a day trying to get something done on any of these sites. I'm in different portals all the time. There just seems to be no consistency.
Well, that's a different problem that we can help with. That's a usability. And
Sidebar that one.
But no, that's good though. That's also a good referral for us. But I mean, it does kind of play in. There's making the site intuitive. This takes it to another step where it's intuitive and useful for anybody.
Is there anything that's going to come down from Sacramento that's going to protect? Because I know that they were working on the people that were being, targeted, in person. Is there anything that's coming down that's going to kind of curtail this activity? Because it's brutal.
Yeah, I don't know, to be honest. I'm not sure. Yeah, you got me on that one. But I think that it's two sides of the same coin, right? So I imagine that any verbiage that's put in to protect a physical business should translate to their website as well. But I don't know that for sure. It's definitely something I should check with Nick on, one of our lawyers in our group, so he would know better. Yes?
Have you heard the adult film story with the ADA compliance? Blind guy wanted to watch his favorite adult film. He was upset that he couldn't read it, and so he sued for $100,000.
And probably got it, right?
Yes, he did.
So I'm not going to get into that.
Don't touch that. For your audience.
I'm just gonna leave that one, and it's being recorded. Thanks. It's true. Okay.
Dude, where did you read that at?
A guy that was telling me the same thing.
He's like, well, actually, I had $100,000 to start my business with.
You guys know I'm blind.
Are there website design elements that can aid this accessibility feature?
Absolutely. I mean, just making, so it's not a catch-all, but having high contrast, having larger fonts, all those things can help. And then if they're not in there, that's where this will automatically do some of that stuff for you.
Because I've seen accessibility on some sites, and it's like, your site is already horrible to navigate, and with the accessibility features, they don't work because it's fine.
And that's one of the things we'll do. Most times it's just drops in and it works, but we'll look at it, and if it creates problems because it moves things around, anything like that, we try to look at it, and if there's any manual things that we need to do, we'll discuss them. If they're quick, we're just going to do them. If there's like a redesign needed or large changes, then we would, obviously get an estimate and get approval before we did that. Yes, sir.
Quick question. I was wondering if
I do. If you want, I can email it to you. I don't have it here, but we could show, and you can even click through it. So that would be a good thing to add in my future presentation.
I'm curious what the cost if you were cited by one of these companies, what's the cost to protect your business? To obtain legal service and all that.
I mean, it's $500 an hour, right? So it's going to be just again. There's been another question for the lawyer in our group, but just replying to these things is going to be hours, right? So I mean, you're doing thousands of dollars just to show them that you're even compliant, probably just to send this. Well, fortunately, we can send it through this information, just forward it to them and use their service. But without them, a lawyer just taking the time to formulate a reply is going to cost you $1,000 or $2,000 probably.
On that question as well, let's say you were cited today and you weren't compliant. And if you said, I just put your application in, poof, it's good. Is that good enough, or are they going to...
Are you saying after they...
After.
A great question for a lawyer. I don't know. At least I think that...
Just got some homework for you.
I do. I'm going to go through there and take notes, because there's the next presentation. One, it's going to fill the time. It's going to have, thanks to all that information, I can go for half an hour now.
What's one of the most common mistakes or most common things that you see on the website that most people wouldn't know about?
Related to ADA, or just not having a plugin like this on
Like
it?
if you see a website like based on color, the font, like what's the one thing that most of us our website is not compliant?
It's not so much what you would see, things that we would notice, right? Because it's having a reader that speaks to somebody that's blind, or having the font change and the contrast change. So there's nothing glaring, I don't think, to somebody without a need, right? It's when they have that need that things have to change, and they don't without a plugin like this. The biggest error of a website, though, is it doesn't work on your phone, just in general. The general problem is that it's not mobile friendly, and over half people are on their phones now, so.
So this does not work on your...
It does.
Oh, it does?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it'll still be down there. You can still change it to make it work. All right.
This kind of sounds like CEQA. We have all heard about CEQA and how easy it is to file a lawsuit to stop a building project from going on for a relatively small amount and make it last for 5.
Yeah, another way for them to extort. The same. It's an unfortunate. It's a problem in every industry for a bunch of different reasons, and this is just the one that's relevant to us. But yeah, everybody's looking for free money. Yes, sir.
So is this your sole service, or do you have other services?
This is okay. So this is like a 10-minute service for us, dropping it in. This is just something we do because we think people need it, and maybe we'll make. I think we get like a $50 commission or something for signing people up. But that's not the point of it. It's so that people are ADA compliant. The rest of our services, we build websites from scratch. We update websites. We maintain websites. We do digital marketing, social media, SEO, pay-per-click, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So this is something relatively recent that we're offering, because we do a lot of marketing and website maintenance for dentists, and that's a big target for them because they know they have a high revenue. Yeah.
Is there a specific group that's targeting these businesses, or is it just free for all?
I think it's pretty free for all.
Really?
Yeah. If you can get somebody that can that has a concern, a disability or something that they can leverage, and I hate to put it that way, but it has to be a team effort, right? Somebody that can see the issue and report on it, and then a lawyer that can file the paperwork. So the one that was doing it to physical businesses here, I think it was just a 2-man team, where the one person would go in and look around and take notes and then come back to the lawyer, and he'd send a letter, and majority of people would just send them a $5,000 check to go away. So. Awesome. Thanks for the questions. It filled my time greatly. I appreciate you. I talk fast. That's something I got to work on. But thank you, everybody.